hitting the long ball like the Rangers were in comparison. And it makes it really troubling or that much more difficult when you have, not to call anybody out in particular, but for example, Taj Bradley, you walk a couple guys, Jake Berger comes up to the plate and mashes a 3-run home run. It is very difficult to come back from that.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
Whether you're a diehard fan who vividly remembers Longo's game 162 just like us,
or you remember the early Double-A days of Wade Boggs and Carl Crawford,
we are here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 7th season covering the Rays daily.
And the 2025 season is underway, so go ahead, grab your favorite Rays gear, settle in, and subscribe to our Locked On Rays YouTube channel and other podcast platforms. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays.
Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Kevin, I gotta tell you, it's really odd. Really odd that every MLB team played this weekend except for the Rays. Odd.
Yeah, the Rays did not show up this weekend.
Rough.
They laid an egg, or they laid 3 eggs, because it was a sweeperoo thanks to what happened on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Good thing, I guess, that they have an off day to lick their wounds and get back to Sambrano Field and hopefully do damage against the Angels, which the Angels, believe it or not, are actually off to a really solid start so far this year for myriad of reasons. But yeah, I guess the Rays will never, ever win a game at the Rangers home ballpark, because I think, what is it? They've lost 8 straight there now.
It's crazy. I don't know if it's 8. Is it 8? I thought it was, is it 8?
It could be 8. It could be more. All I know is it's a lot. And maybe it's a mental hurdle that is getting to the point right now. But
we definitely know it's 6 straight, because they were swept last year as well. And that was like in the middle of the season. It's...
Let's hope the Rays, 1, make the playoffs, but 2, don't have playoff games there, because it might not go very well.
Or against the Rangers, because we don't win against the Rangers in the playoffs. So that's another thing.
That kind of dates back to like 15 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, disgusting. It is 15 years ago. At first I was like, dude, you're overreaching. No, it literally was 15 years ago.
It's getting close to that, if not already.
Yeah, so. 2010. Disgusting. Make us feel old right quick in this episode. Look, not a great weekend for the Rays. I can, when you scored 3 runs on average on a weekend against a lineup that can do way more damage than that, you're going to be in trouble. And we can talk all day long about the rotation and the bullpen and how good they are, because they are, and they keep showing that they are. But you gotta score, man. You gotta score more than the other team, and they did not do that.
Putting it into context a little bit as well, 2 of those 9 runs that were scored over the course of the weekend were on wild pitches.
Exactly.
So that's what we're dealing with presently. And in order to beat a team like the Rangers, who, to put it nicely, they have a denser lineup than the Rays, have more power and star power than the Rays. You've got to do, really, I think one of the biggest issues over the course of the weekend, a trend that we saw, was the Rangers jumping out to early leads, whether it was 2 runs, 3 runs, 4 runs. And the Rays aren't really built to come back from something like that, especially a team that is getting a majority of their runs on the long ball like the Rangers. I mean, I think there was at least a game or two. I've not looked at all the numbers. I mean, the Rays were getting hits, but they weren't hitting the long ball like the Rangers were in comparison. And it makes it really troubling or that much more difficult when you have, not to call anybody out in particular, but for example, Taj Bradley, you walk a couple guys, Jake Berger comes up to the plate and mashes a 3-run home run. It is very difficult to come back from that.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned power because we got to talk about it. Kevin, you want to guess where the Rays rank right now in home runs in MLB?
I would say bottom third and probably 26th.
You would be incorrect, but close. You're in the same zip code. They are tied for 30th.
Okay.
With 5 home runs. 5 home runs. Do you know how many home runs Brendan Lau has this season?
I would say he has 60% of those homers.
He's got 3 home runs. Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't do much with that. And I know it's exciting. And then, look, let me just say 2 things. Okay. First, it's early, people. It's early, but we got to talk about it.
Correct.
And 2, this is an issue that was brought up last year. I know Klosky talked about it endlessly throughout the 2024 season. They've got to get popped. They're not getting popped. They're not getting popped. And I know it's exciting to say, oh, man, Junior Caminero, oh, he's got 30 home run power. And Christopher Morel, oh, he's got 30 home run power. That's why I said in the beginning, in the offseason, question marks. They have question marks. Oh, Josh Lowe. Well, Josh Lowe is going to be out. So all of the power like that we were hoping to get, again, 10 games in, hasn't shown. And hopefully it'll pick up. But this is a reality. If your big guys are not going to be hitting for power, this team is going to be looking a little bit better than last year just because of the pitching, not because of the hitting.
Right. Yeah, it's a tough cookie to crack right now. And I think the home runs will come, but we might have to temper our expectations with as many homers as we expected, especially if Junior Caminero is not lifting the ball and Brandon Lau is pretty much the only guy contributing dingers. Like it's nice to see Cameron Meisner get a walk-off home run on the very first game of the season, but not much doing since that as far as the long ball goes. Jonathan Aranda, nice to see him hit a homer, but at some point, Chris Morel needs to step up a little bit. Junior Caminero needs to step up a little bit. Yandy Diaz needs to, I know he's not known as a home run hitter, but you got to give us 1 or 2. It is concerning where we're at right now, especially the fact that Josh Lowe is down. And I think it goes back to it. That's probably why you, myself, and others were harping on the Rays if they have ideations of really, really competing this year because they got rid of Randy, because they got rid of Isak. You have to find somebody, some middle of the order option that can give you pop. And we looked at Tony Taters. Obviously, didn't come to the Rays. I mean, I guess the Rays' solution to that inquiry was getting Eloy Jimenez. And Eloy's in AAA. And maybe, I mean, I don't know. I've not looked at how he's doing in Durham, but it might eventually come to that where we got to find a guy. We know he has power, so we got to call him up and give him a shot and see if he can knock one out here.
And last year after the trade deadline, or whilst the trade deadline was happening, they were like, okay, Morel can also be that answer. But as of yet, we really haven't had, any showing of that power that we need. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. In fact, new customers right now can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Again, 200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, whatever you want. Even on who's cutting down the nets, you can do that at FanDuel. Go for the underdog. Why not go for the underdog? Whoever that is, in your opinion. So again, today, go to FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. So,
All right. Yeah.
I was looking at runs scored too. The Rays are 20th, tied at 34 runs. The last team is the Atlanta Braves. Nobody would have seen that coming at 24. The first team, Chicago Cubs, at 77. So again, the 20th might feel a little bit like, oh, middle of the road, but we're closer to the bottom than the top.
Right. And I think I would say that if at the end of the season the Rays are 20th in runs scored, you can live with that, assuming that the pitching keeps up. But and I should note on a positive angle, Brandon Lau did hit a home run over the course of the weekend versus Jacob deGrom on a 1-2 count.
Yeah, that's cool.
7-mile-per-hour fastball, middle in the wheelhouse. Pretty much the same thing for Jonathan Aranda as well. But Brandon Lau, it was his 129th of his career, all with the Rays, of course. So he is now third on the franchise all-time list behind Evan Longoria and Carlos Pena. And I would imagine before, maybe not necessarily the season is over, but when his time is over with the Rays, he will surpass Pena, because I think Pena is at 163 or so.
163 and Brandon is at 129?
129, correct.
So he's 34 away. He's got 3 in the bag.
It could be done this season. I mean, he's going to have a hell of a year and stay healthy, but it could be done this season. And quite frankly, based on the numbers so far, he might have to do that for the Rays to be somewhat competitive offensively.
He would need to have a 37 homer season, which would be his second highest total in his career. Can he do it? Absolutely. Will he do it? We'll stay tuned, folks.
I mean, with the short porch, there's
porch is nice.
And that's the thing, that the Rays have to capitalize on the short porch. They have to capitalize on the Steinbrenner Field dimensions. No more loud outs or warning track scares. Like, they need to start going over the fence pronto.
Apparently, the second most affected stadium because of wind factors after Wrigley Field is Steinbrenner Field so far this season. So you also have that to contend with. But yeah, you have to do some damage there with a short porch, and you were hoping that you would get some pop from Josh Lowe. You're not really getting that. So
you get a little bit from Kim, but Kim wasn't brought in necessarily to be a home run threat. I mean, he'll give you 12 to 17 maybe.
Just like Yandy.
A full season, but that's brought in to be an all-around player and to elevate the shortstop position offensively, because Taylor Wall certainly isn't going to do that.
That's Yandy territory, right? 12 to 17 home runs. You would take that from Yandy every day. So that helps. That's the little bit that counts. But you do want your big guys, your big guns, aka Caminero, aka Morel, to start to step up. And again, it's early, but that's all we have to talk about. It's like 9 games right now, or 9 games, yeah, because the Rays are 4 and 5. But you touched on something that I think we should talk about. Walls.
Still can't hit.
Huh?
Still can't hit.
No, still can't hit. He still can catch, though. Impressing with it. I mean, honestly, like the other day, he did a great play on a bouncer, on a chopper, and it was going to bounce the second time. He gets it right before it does the second bounce with his glove, throws him out at first, just as smooth as you can get at shortstop. They even did an article on MLB.com of him being able to cover third on a throw on a stolen bag attempt and able to keep the runner there. Really solid stuff. Like, you're not going to find that type of play at shortstop there in a lot of other teams. And also, the things he does so well are not you don't notice them until you miss them.
Right.
As in, you put somebody else at shortstop and you're like, oof, this guy, oof, he doesn't do this. Oof, how could he not get that? It's like, because you're used to it. Just kind of like how the Rays were used to, really good defense by KK for almost a decade, right? So I gave him his flowers. 136 average, 405 OPS. My man.
Yeah. Now we can still say it's early, but that's not too far off from If you gave me those numbers 9 games in with Taylor Walls, I would say, yeah, that probably checks out.
That tracks.
It's not
It
Yanni
tracks.
Diaz going, 136 average with the 405 OPS. And that's where, again, I think we're clamoring for Ha-Seong Kim to be healthy, because all the things you mentioned about Wall's defense, I think Kim has the wherewithal and the baseball instincts to do that. I mean, sure, Taylor Walls might be, half a step better than him defensively, if that, but Kim is going to be able to provide so much beyond that with his bat.
Mhm.
So that really should be a boost and a help. It's funny you mentioned Wall's defense, because we did see some other good glove work. I mean, Brandon Lau made a really solid play at second base.
Yep.
Johnny DeLuca,
Mhm.
the Johnny DeLuca center field haters, well, he had a great diving catch
Yeah.
over the course of the weekend. I think it was on Friday. Now it ended up being a sac fly. You can't do anything about that, but that was very, very impressive by him. I mean, there were some, not to be totally Debbie Downer, because it's
Hard
easy.
not to be after a sweep,
Yeah,
but yeah.
after a sweep for sure. But there were some little things that
Yeah.
made me think, okay, this is good. Drew Rasmussen, what he put forth, the fact
Mhm.
that Taj Bradley, after he got blown up early on, he had the poise and composure to come back and settle in for several innings after that. And then some of the younger players stepping up in key moments, like Curtis Mead getting off
Mhm.
snide and getting an RBI double to tie the game on Saturday. And then Junior Caminero on Sunday, a game tying sacrifice fly. So little things here and there that we can at least put a feather in our cap to some extent.
Yeah, obviously, right. With in a 3-game series, you would hope to find some positives. But like you mentioned at the top, hard to come by, but there are a
Yeah.
few. I think that the sacrifice fly, love that to see that, because that's something that they said in spring training they would be working on. Get the men in from third. And it was
Mhm.
one of the biggest mottos that Joe Madden had in 2008 in that World Series run. So very important, and that's not something that they had last year with situational hitting.
Right.
So hopefully, those are the little things you can keep track throughout the season, that you see some improvement, and hopefully it'll go a long way. Now the Rays are going to be facing the Angels, Cav,
Yes.
but when it comes to fueling your body, quality matters. That's why Just Ingredients is changing the game with clean, high quality products designed to support better health and peak performance. In fact, they have a line of protein powder, electrolytes, pre workout, and creatine that are NSF certified. In fact, they've partnered with 2-time MVP Bryce Harper to do so. So, if you want to feel good, if you want that extra punch that'll help you get that health up to 100%, visit justingredients.us. Use code locked on MLB for 20% off. You heard me right. 20% off at justingredients.us using code locked on MLB. LOCKEDON MLB for 20% off. And for more wellness tips, follow at just.ingredients on Instagram.
All right. So the Angels are in town. Much better that they are coming to Steinbrenner versus the Rays having to travel to the West Coast. And I believe this starts off a stretch of like 15 home games for the
Something like that.
Rays, which is the most in a very, very long time for them. So this is the time where you really need to capitalize on that, obviously. So the Rays have games Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Kyle Hendricks going up against Shane Baz, Yosei Kikuchi going up against Ryan Pepio, and then Jose Soriano going up against Zach Littell. The Angels, believe it or not, have a 6-3 record, which I believe is second best in the AL West. Will they keep it up? Probably not, because they're the Angels. The Angels, similar to other teams that the Rays have played this year, the Rockies and Pirates, it has been a very, very long time since they sniffed playoff action for myriad reasons. Mainly, I would say ownership and front office struggles and bad contracts and bad drafting and player development, all those things, which means that Mike Trout is pretty much left on an island. No more Shohei Ohtani that he can be on the team and still not make the playoffs with. Speaking of that, again, it's our annual PSA or biannual PSA, however often the Rays play the Angels. Mike Trout is expected to be healthy for at least one of these games. So savor it if you can. Savor it for the future Hall of Famer, because this guy, when he's available and playing, he's one of the best in baseball. But that's been the issue each of the last 4 years. Do you want to, I want to ask you a quick question. Do you want to venture to guess how many total games that Mike Trout has played across the last 4 years? So there's 162 games in a season.
So you're saying from 2021?
2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. Correct.
Okay. I'm pretty sure he played like 30 games last year. Then I think the year before that he played like 60, and then I think he played like 100. So that's what, 190. Let's go with 200 games.
A little bit low, 266, which averages to about like 66 per season. He played 119 in 2022, hit 38 homers in that season. And then it just kept getting worse from there. Well, actually, let me go back a bit. 2021 only played 36 games, 2022 119, 2023 82, 2024 29, and so far he has played every game in an Angels uniform, and he's been moved from center field to right field to take some of the wear and tear off his body.
Well, hopefully that helps, because you got to keep your stars healthy, right? I mean, we all are baseball fans, so we like to see the best of the best play, and that's definitely Mike Trout. Definitely not in his prime years, but he still can put up gaudy numbers if he's on the field. So if you're available to go see a game, go see it. A friend of the pod from Scotland is coming all the way. John McNeil. He's coming all the way from Scotland and is going to be at a game on Thursday. That's pretty awesome. So be like John McNeil and go to a game. You mentioned a very long stretch. The Rays are going to be playing against the Angels, the Braves, the Red Sox, and the Yankees. So 4 series in a row at home. 2 of those series, obviously, with AL East rivals. Kev, I am kind of.
You're nervous?
I'm nervous, and I know that the next thing would be like, well, why are you nervous? Well, because the Rays can't get behind the 8 ball. And the Red Sox are a very solid team right now. The Yankees are a solid team right now.
And the Yankees are used to playing at Sambrano Field. I mean, it is technically their spring training home. So that's just their ballpark south. And I would imagine there'd be a big contingent of Yankees fans.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And I know the Braves are doing horribly right now. I know, like we just said, they're last in runs in all of MLB, but they're still the Braves, man. This is not going to be make it or break it, but the Rays can't allow themselves too much. No more sweeps.
Yeah. I would think that obviously you want to get some ground, but you really shouldn't do worse than 8-7. Like, you should at least hold for it here and probably do better than that. But I mean, you gotta, I would think you'd have to squeeze out this stretch 500 or a game or 2 above 500 when it's all
you have to. So hopefully they can.
All right, hopefully they can. Just walk Mike Trout every at bat, and Logan O'Hoppe, evidently, because Logan O'Hoppe is just crushing it right now. It would be nice to have that from the catching position for the Rays. Jealousy alert. They've got Logan O'Hoppe and Travis d'Arnaud on their roster simultaneously. So how about that? We'll see what happens. I am going to say that the power pops out a little bit for the Rays. They'll average a home run a game over these next 3.
They have to have that. Yeah, come on. Let's go.
Yeah.
They need the pop to come back. Caminero is hitting a homer against the Angels.
Calling it. I like it.
Calling it.
All right. On that note, we hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you later.